Gaining exposure and getting traffic to your website is one of the most challenging aspects of growing an online business. This is why you need to make sure that your marketing is employing strategies to convert as much of that existing traffic you are getting into paying customers as possible. And to help with that, I've written down 3 website conversion killers that you're probably not paying attention to that you're going to want to address as soon as you can, because if not, it is costing you revenue. Hey guys, my name is Brooks Hitsfield with 7 Sons, which is a family farm that has grown completely from scratch to a multi-7-figure e-commerce business. And we love to use technology to make life a little bit easier. So several years ago, we developed a website and e-commerce platform called GrazeCart, which serves really anyone who's also selling perishable food products on the internet. And if you're new to us, you want to learn more about that platform, who we serve well, you can do so at grazecart.com by watching one of our demos. But in these videos, what we do is we share marketing and business advice that has served us well in our own e-commerce experience and that are working really well for our fastest growing clients. Again, in today's video, we're talking about 3 subtle website conversion killers that you probably don't hear talked about too often, and they might seem a little trivial as we get into this. But believe me, you're going to want to correct these 3 commonly made mistakes, because every single year, the marketplace just becomes more and more competitive. I've read statistics that say there are over 300 websites that are launched online every single hour. So that means that every year there are more people who are selling products similar to yours or that look similar to yours. And our customers just don't have to work as hard to find the solutions that they're looking for. So you need to make sure that you're doing all the little things right to make sure that you're converting as many of those people who become aware of you as possible. So right now, every single month, you are getting visitors to your website, and there's a certain percentage of those visitors that you normally would have converted into customers, but you're not, because you need to address one, if not all 3 of these areas. So let's get into it. All right, conversion killer number 1 is slow page loading. So yes, I am referring to the amount of time it takes your website to load after someone clicks on a link from social media or Google or however they find out about you. And one metric you're going to want to be aware of that kind of drives home the importance of this is called your bounce rate. So your bounce rate is referred to in the digital marketing world as the amount of people, visitors that hit your website, that leave that website, so they navigate away before clicking on any links on your site or visiting any other aspects of the website. So they come and then they leave right away, meaning they probably didn't find what they were looking for. And there are statistics out there that do vary a little bit, but if you research this, there are statistics that say that if one website loads in 3 seconds versus another website that loads in 7 seconds, the difference between those 2 points can be the difference of your bounce rate going from under 10% to over 15 or even 20%. The good news is that there's 2 solutions to this that have the most impact and really are quite simple and something you have complete control over. Number 1 is going to be your image assets. So the photos that you're uploading to your website and sharing with your customers, but more importantly, the file size of those photos. So the larger the file size you upload to your website, the longer it's going to take your customer's computer and internet to load those files or those images. So what you're going to want to do is make sure that you optimize or compress those photos before you upload them. And there's several different tools you can use for this, but basically what you're doing is you're taking the file size of the image, making it much smaller, that way it loads faster. And if you compress photos the right way, you don't really notice much of a quality difference between the 2. We created a guide completely on optimizing your images for the web, so it tells you what file size to shoot for, what dimensions of the images you should probably crop to keep everything nice and consistent. You don't want anything that exists on your website that's really over a couple hundred kilobytes. So there's gigabytes, megabytes, and kilobytes. Keep them in that kilobyte range. Don't go above that. Number 2 is regarding hosting. So whatever platform or service you're using to build or host your website on, you need to make sure that they're using up-to-date and high-speed servers to host that platform, because that's going to determine the loading speed of your website as well. This is probably more common with some of the free website services that you might be using versus something like GrazeCart, where we obviously put a lot of effort in the servers that we're using, and it loads the platform much faster. So if you're using a website through GrazeCart, that box is going to be checked. So just make sure once you compress those photos, check the loading speed again. If you're still not satisfied or disappointed, you might want to contact your hosting company to get more information on that, or consider switching to another service. Conversion killer number 2 is going to be a confusing buying process. So more importantly, what I'm talking about here is the information you're communicating to your customer to describe What is that process they need to go through in order to do business with you? We like to say that you need to answer 3 questions as soon as possible when someone lands on your website. It's what is it that you offer, what's in it for me, and what's the next steps I need to take to buy from you. You need to make this crystal clear as soon as possible up front, because again, people don't have to invest the time that they used to in order to find products and solutions to what they're looking for. So if you make it a lot of work for them, or if you make it confusing, a confused mind never buys. The problem that comes in this area is when you're focusing on a lot of different sales channels. So if you're like our business, you probably might be focusing on growing a wholesale business, working with restaurants and retailers. You obviously do your online marketing to direct to consumer. You might still be going to farmers markets. And if you have a lot of different sales channels and you try to address all of those different type of customers on your website and describe the buying process for each one of those channels, a lot of times what you end up doing is you just end up creating a lot of noise and you end up confusing everybody. So what we started doing, and we used to do this as well, but we noticed a big difference when we decided to just choose one of those channels to make our primary focus on the website, especially on our homepage and the first information that visitors will see. And we addressed that customer, because when a visitor lands on that website, the main thing you want them to do is to buy from you. So if you have clutter on your main menu that addresses how to buy if you're a wholesale customer, the farmers markets we attend, and all that information, you need to purge that from your menu, put it in the footer, so the very bottom of your website. You need to have very clear CTA or buy now buttons throughout the homepage that are very consistent. And then we like to include a little section on our homepage that's just a 3-step how to buy process. So basically, we hold ourselves to 3 steps to describe what that process is, the steps that someone needs to take to do business with us. So it just puts that customer at ease. It gives them confidence that, okay, this is going to be easy. I'm now going to invest more time to see if this is a business that I want to work with. Conversion killer number 3 is high cost fees. So I saved this one for last because not only do I believe it's a common mistake that's made, but it's one of the more detrimental things you can do for the future success of your e-commerce business as well. And we know because it's a mistake that we have made of our own. And the reason why this happens is once you start selling online, you're going to realize that there's a lot of new cost involved with serving this type of customer. You might start doing deliveries. So you have the cost in a vehicle and packaging, everything that goes into that. And if you're like us, what we did is instead of, going to the work to, factor in all those costs into the price of our product, instead, we charge a delivery fee, a high cost delivery fee at checkout in order to cover everything that went into deliveries. So I think we did at first a $9 or $10 flat fee plus 99 cents a pound when we started doing home deliveries. And you can see how that delivery fee can add up very, very quickly. And again, this is just an area that your customer isn't used to. We live in an Amazon Prime world, and whether that frustrates you or not, it's just changed the perception that consumers have with having to shop online and pay delivery fees. Think about other options they have for buying your products, right? They might go to the grocery store, and even though the grocery store has freight costs in getting that product to the store, they don't add on a per pound delivery fee, at the checkout lane, okay? It's not something that they're used to. That would be very inconvenient. So after doing some research and looking at some of the most successful and fastest growing businesses in our industry, we realized none of them were charging confusing high cost delivery fees like we were. And in fact, most of them were offering the incentive for their customer to get free delivery on a certain size order. And we realized, there obviously must be something to this. So we did the work, we took the time, it's just numbers. We sat down and analyzed all the different costs we had in delivery and credit card processing, built that into the price of our product. Now we're able to offer a very low cost $9 flat fee at checkout with an incentive for our customers to get free delivery on orders over $149. So not only will this create a much more friendly user experience for your customer, but it also can help increase your average basket size as well. Now, one objection you might be thinking is, that's great, but what if I have different types of customers who buy from me in different ways? So if you have a curbside pickup program, you also do home deliveries, and you take pre-order for pickup at your farm, all of those options have different cost structures involved, and you don't want your next door neighbor to have to pay for the added product prices that you need to charge in order to cover the cost to ship an order to someone who lives a state away. So what we decided to do is we built in a feature into GrazeCart called pricing groups that basically allow you to charge a different pricing tier based off of the method that someone's buying from you or the region that they live in. So it makes it very fair and it keeps it very clean as well. So you don't have to communicate to your customers that, oh, hey, if if you live here, then this is your price. And if you pick up the farm, then you might get this price. All of that is just logic that's tied into the back end, and it works in the background. So when someone lands on our store, they see all of our products, but they don't see prices until they create an account. So that gives us their zip code, so we now know where they live, and then we can display the price that's most appropriate for them in their area. And that's the final conversion killer. So if you found insights in this video, please let us know by hitting the thumbs up button and leave a comment below letting me know, what do you think out of the 3 items we talked about you have the most opportunity in correcting first? Is it correcting a dinosaur slow website? Or is it maybe that confusing buying process that's as clear as mud to your customers? Or that high cost delivery fee at checkout that just causes everyone frustration? Leave the comment below letting us know, is it 1, 2, or 3? And again, thanks for watching the video. Ultimately, everything we've talked about today comes down to just really putting your customer first and trying to make life as easy as possible for them. Anytime that you put yourself in your customer's shoes and you figure out how to make the buying experience more convenient and put them first, you're going to be rewarded for doing that. This is part of the reasons why we built our own custom website and e-commerce solution 6 years ago, because when we started marketing online, we realized there was no e-commerce platform that was set up for our type of business, but we didn't want technology to hold our business back from future growth. So building user-friendly buying experiences is what we do. And if you're interested in learning more about GrazeCart and how you can work with us and use the platform to improve your user experience, you can do that at grazecart.com. Again, thanks for watching the video, and I will see you guys next time.